This is big breaking emergency news. We are now seeing top officials warning that riots are going to happen. That is what they're warning. Top officials and senators are now saying riots are about to happen. Riots are about to break out, specifically inside of states like Tennessee. That is what they're warning of, and potentially the states surrounding Tennessee as well. State senators are warning that riots are going to break out after a new law was just passed. All right, so this is very serious. If you are in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama, any of these neighboring states, Missouri, Arkansas, any of these states that are around here, all right, you need to be on high alert and red alert, because top officials are now warning that these are coming, and top officials are even calling for these riots to happen. That is what they're saying. Top senators are saying that they are foreseeing riots to happen, and they are calling for riots to happen because of this law that just passed. So you can't make this up, right? And you need to be prepared. You need to be on high alert for cities like Memphis, cities like Nashville, cities like Knoxville, and cities like Chattanooga. These big cities inside Tennessee, we could see chaos erupt, and that is actually what they are calling for. All right, so very serious. Let's dive into this news here. All right, really quick, guys. Hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple times a day, keeping you guys updated on this big news. All right, so let's dive into this here. You can see that this state senator inside of Tennessee, this rep, was saying that riots are coming and warning that we need to be getting prepared for riots for this bill that passed. We have this rep that is a state senator inside Tennessee. Her name is Charlane Oliver. All right, she's saying, quote, the gloves are off, and she's saying, quote, we could see riots, quote, riots. All right, so I want you to listen to what she said really quick. This was part of her rebuttal to this bill being passed.
So yeah, we gonna fight. Dr. King said the riots are the language of the unheard. You ain't saying nothing yet. If you keep silencing us like this, what do you think our district's gonna do?
All right, so you heard that there. She was responding. She had this long rant. She's very upset about this. And she said that riots are the sound of the unheard. Okay, and she's attributing that quote to Martin Luther King. So that's what she's warning of, and she's very serious, and she's essentially calling for these riots to happen in response to this. And she said, you haven't seen anything yet, and the gloves are off, and you're going to see what's going to happen in our districts. All right, so if you're in these areas, you need to be on high alert. And this isn't unprecedented in our country. We've seen things like this happen before, where these major cities have been burned to the ground, right? All over the country. And it was sparked by things like this, right? By waves, big waves. It starts in one place. Remember, there were these autonomous zones. Okay, do you remember that? These Chaz autonomous zones where the police weren't allowed to enter. Do you remember that? That was in the US. It was these no-go zones all over the United States. There were armed militias controlling entire parts of the US and major cities and sections of major cities. Blocked off. And it was like warlord stuff. It was like what we're seeing in Haiti. But it was in the US. Right? These gangs just taking over. No police allowed. Some of them were taking over police stations, police districts. They were taking over government buildings. And nobody really got charged for any of these crimes. All right, there were very few prosecutions for billions and billions of dollars of destruction of businesses and private property in the US, right? That happened in 2020. You guys remember that, when all that craziness happened, okay? And now we are seeing representatives call for this again. So this is very sketchy rhetoric, right? And she really should be careful, right? I understand she's upset with these laws, but I really don't even understand the points of being this upset when it's just laws saying things like this, that the police have to enforce expired registrations within 60 days of expiration. These are literal bullet points from the law, right? When a temporary registration permit is improperly located, but it still can be clearly displayed. These are things that they have to prosecute now. Cars with loose bumpers, when a single brake light or headlight is inoperable. These are things that the police, they don't have to prosecute, but they have to check on now. They have to at least check and see what's going on. When the registration plate is not securely fastened, right? Just these few little things are clarifying that these are the standards for Tennessee to drive your car on the roads, and they're saying that these local jurisdictions need to enforce them as well. And you can bet that registration rule is that they want to get their money. They want to get their money. They want this registration rule enforced because they want their payments, right? And I don't want to pay my registration either. Nobody wants to pay their car registration, but everyone else does. And these certain cities and jurisdictions have decided that they're not enforcing any of these laws, and they're just saying that they have to now. So I don't think that's justification to be calling for riots, but this is how it could happen. And these units, these military foreign units, are already in our country. They have exploited our open border system, our lax border system, our asylum system. It's all being exploited right now very heavily. And a small percentage of that, bare minimum, is foreign military units that are entering the country. And that could take advantage of this. There could be some kind of organic flare-up, or it could be a total astroturfed operation, right? Could be total fake operation that was imported into our country and started all this, right? So you need to be on high alert, red alert, especially if you're in Memphis. It seems like they are really targeting this for Memphis, and Memphis is actually right on the border there with Arkansas. It's like halfway into Arkansas too. All right, so, and Alabama as well. But, you know, the city's right there on the corners. So all these states seem to be on high alert. We could see activations in Birmingham and Atlanta. All right, these cities that are around here as well, Louisville, St. Louis, Missouri. We could see things going on there. All these cities that are in the immediate area, we could see responses and people be activated and be agitated, right? So get prepared now, get ready now, get out of the cities now, because they weren't sparing anyone. When they were burning these buildings down, it didn't matter who owned the building, it didn't matter if they agreed with them or not, the building was getting burnt down. And we cannot have a repeat of 2020, and it's an election year, it's 2024. We could see these agitations brought up again, and we could see a similar event happen like in 2020. All right, so make sure you are getting prepared. Get out of these cities now, get prepared now, right? Start growing your own food, start homesteading. All right, this is the key, is to get away from these systems and start building your own system. So if there's chaos, the city's locked down. Look at all these cities are collapsing into chaos. New York City has the National Guard there, deploying, monitoring the subways, right? They're at all the hotels, at all the migrant hotels, the National Guard's there as well, guarding all the hotels, creating order there. So please hit it up for me down there to help get this video out, to get this warning out, people need to know about this, right? They are calling for riots in these states. This is a major warning for millions of people. There are millions of people that live in these states and live in these cities, and this is very concerning that they could activate riots at a moment's notice. Overnight, we see these things happen, and a lot of times there were people being bussed in. People were being bussed in. Thousands of people when we had 2020. Thousands of people were being bussed around the country to agitate. And it was about 75% of people that were being arrested were out of state. Completely out of state. Completely gone. Right? From the other side of the country. Why were these people here from halfway across the country, the other side of the country, in the middle of these riots, burning down buildings and burning down everything they see? Businesses, looting, causing chaos. Why are they here? How do they even get here? Who's paying for them to get here? How are they able to do this all day? How are they here? How are they here? Who's paying for them to be here, to pay for their flights, pay for their food, pay for their housing, all this stuff to come here and then cause chaos and then bail them out? Right? If you remember, there were funds to entire GoFundMes and things like that to bail people out that were burning these buildings down so they could potentially just go do it again. And now in New York City, there's cashless bail. And this is spreading to other big cities as well. Instantly released. All right, so who's funding this? Where are they coming from? And we could see out-of-staters. And now, that was 4 years ago. That was before Biden even got in. All right, now there's been close to 10 million people, 7.2 million, I believe, on record from Border Patrol. 7.2 million since Biden has been in. And there have been over 2 million gotaways as well, admittedly, that they see on cameras, they see on drones, sensors, things like that, that they actually don't stop or encounter. All right, so they're saying it's around 10 million. That's admittedly, the number's probably even higher than that. All right, and that was before all that. So we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to be activated. We don't know who's going to be bussed around. And think about it. All the planes are... Our air system is a complete joke right now. We are flying people all over the country, unvetted. We have no idea who they are. And they don't have to go through the normal TSA safety screenings and checks and ID checks that everyone else does. Everyone else has to have 10 forms of identity to get on a plane if you're a citizen. But if you're a non-citizen, they send you on a plane right away. They let you fly right into the country and then fly you to whatever city you want on taxpayer dime. That's all admitted. Okay? And that system is completely open right now and being exploited. There could be hundreds of people, thousands of people flown into a certain city, paid with our money, that could be activated, that are exploiting this system. And it's already happening. They're already warning that people are exploiting the system, moving people around that are victims, all right, using it to move humans around. You know what I'm talking about. It's very sketchy, and we're paying for it all. And they're just flying people around, just moving people around. And sheriffs are warning of it, police are warning of it. They know what's going on in their jurisdictions, in their areas. They know who's coming in and out. They're catching these people. They're finding them and figuring out what they're doing. And they're shocked. But they can't stop it. Because this is a federal program. It's happening in every state in the country. Right? So make sure you guys are getting prepared. We could see these riots activated, especially in Memphis. Memphis is number one on the list. Right? St. Louis is up there too. These other cities surrounding Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, these other cities are on the list as well to see an activation, especially in Tennessee, big cities in Tennessee and surrounding. So get prepared now, guys. Please be peaceful and be safe. We don't want this. We don't want our cities burning. We don't want riots and chaos, because that's how they implement the next phase of their agenda, where everything is tracked and traced, and there's soldiers on the street, and there's bag checks, and there's martial law. I'm telling you guys, I've been warning of this for 6 months to a year, that they are allowing this everything to be wide open. They're allowing this chaos, and it's gonna lead to troops on the street, martial law scenarios, internal checkpoints, but then externally it's wide open. So you got to get your bags checked to go on the subway, but then the border's wide open. U.S. citizens have to deal with the National Guard to get on public services. But then if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can walk right in. You don't even have to deal with the National Guard. Nobody's checking your bag, searching your bag, verifying your identity, nothing. This is what they're doing. It's on purpose, and they're allowing it to happen so they can bring in this police state on top of it. That's going to be the only solution, is to have a major clampdown martial law like scenario in all these big cities, right? And that's going to overwhelm the system. We can't even handle that. We don't want that. That's a breakdown of our society. That's when it's hitting the fan. That's shtf. That's shtf. That's hitting the fan when National Guard has to be everywhere. They're already deployed in Florida, dealing with these armed gangs coming into Florida. All right, I was posting about that yesterday. They're already dealing with in Texas with the border. They're in New York. Now they might have to be here. Like, they're overwhelming our system. Overwhelming our system and bringing it to a breaking point. So get prepared now. All right. Get ready now in case there's any disruptions. And if you are in these cities, definitely get stocked up. Have food, have water, have enough preps to just stay inside your home for a little while if you need to, if this breaks out. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.